It's crazy in Pittsburgh, and I love Pittsburgh, but it's a zoo. Le'Veon Bell made a choice. 14 years old, he chose to be a running back. 20 of them were drafted this year. Another 8 will make the NFL that are undrafted. Tom Brady has been the only steady in the Patriots dynasty. They have had 9 different leading rushers. You have to be mature earlier than you usually want to. 14, 15 years old, you can make decisions that will end your life or extend it. Be ready, I tell my kids. I was 14 years old. I wanted to be in the media. I read the newspaper, front to back, and I watched local TV. So when I was 14 years old, I set up a meeting with the local newspaper, and I drove there. And I drove to my local newspaper, and the parking lot had beat-up cars. And I went inside the newsroom, and it smelled like old newsprint. And people weren't well-dressed, and they were grumpy, and their head were down. There was no energy in the building. A week later, my dad set up a meeting with King TV in Seattle. That was a TV station I watched. I loved King TV in Seattle. And I met with them, and I pulled into the parking lot. And there was a beautiful woman getting out of a cabriolet, which at the time was an amazing car. Not so much now. And I went into the lobby, and there were flowers and attractive people, and the energy was great. And I went into the newsroom, and people were laughing and high-fiving and watching TV and having fun. And at 14 years old, I made a choice. There's a lot of different jobs in the media. I'm doing the TV radio thing over the newspaper thing, and it has done well for me. Le'Veon Bell was 14 years old. Could have picked any position. He was that talented. He chose the one that's a piñata, in which there are dozens upon dozens of running backs every year that come into the league. 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, undrafted, and become great players. Alvin Kamara. These are the choices we make. This is happening all over America for young men and women who are very, very smart. They are choosing tech, Wall Street over medicine. Why? Because they don't want to be on call 24/7. They don't want to get out of college with $300,000 in college debt. They don't want the horrible hours and staying in college for 8 years and watching blood. They want to go and create new things. And maybe they won't save people, but maybe they will. They'll make an app that'll save people. And it's fun, and it's better energy, and you don't have that college debt. And you make that choice at 14 and 15 years old. If you make it at 38, it's too late. It's the downside to youth. As Winston Churchill said, it's wasted on the young. You got to have it together, baby, at 15, because those choices end a life or extend a life. I tell my kids, figure out what you love and pursue it with passion. But take a while to figure out what you love, because it's going to reshape your life. Yes, Le'Veon Bell is unbelievably talented. Talent doesn't always mean you're the highest paid. Daniel Day-Lewis is considered our greatest actor. He chooses art. He chooses to play Lincoln 77 years ago. He goes into character for 9 months. He goes home at night. His kids are like, Dad, we're playing basketball. You want to be the ref? A house divided against itself cannot stand. Dad, we're just playing basketball. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? Dad, can't you just be a dad? 77 years ago. He chooses art. The Rock chooses action. And he plays himself. And he makes double Daniel Day-Lewis. We all make choices. Don't complain about the choices you make. They're yours, and yours singularly. I am not a super techie guy, but I do upgrade my phone regularly, the iPhone thing. And I see myself as not super techie, but I got kids, so I got to pay attention to the devices and what they're on and, make sure nothing crazy is going on. But I will spend money, on the iPhone. I'll update it every year, and I'll spend money. And the reason I do that is because it saves me money elsewhere. Because my iPhone means I don't have to have a newspaper subscription. I don't have to have an alarm clock. I don't have to have a watch, a high-def camera, a Rolodex, a voice recorder. It is all in my phone. I don't need a calculator or a music player or a video game or a flashlight or a notepad or a computer or a GPS. So I overspend on the phone, and they're way too expensive in my opinion, but I do so because they save me elsewhere. The Green Bay Packers, I contend, and I said this yesterday, should have gone for it with Khalil Mack. Now, instead, they'll face him 2 times a year. Aaron Rodgers will feel that breath at least a dozen times a year now for the next several years. A guy off, by the way, 2 collarbone surgeries. The Green Bay Packers have wasted years of Aaron Rodgers because, like the iPhone, you don't have to give him the best offensive line. You don't have to give Aaron Rodgers the best running game. You don't have to give him Hall of Fame tight ends. You don't have to give Aaron Rodgers amazing wide receivers. You can give him C+, B- across the board, and he elevates everybody to another level. Brady does the same thing. So there's no excuse for New England not to spend money on defensive stars. I've been critical of them. And there's no reason why, if the LA Rams, who were also interested in Khalil Mack, can pay 5 and 6 guys huge money, the Packers can't pay 2 guys huge money. Okay? Don't tell me, well, you can't. I mean, you can't pay like a quarterback and a defensive end all that money. Rams are paying guys a ton. Well, same league, same salary cap. Rams also wanted Khalil Mack. When you have the iPhone, it allows you not to spend big money elsewhere because it elevates your life. When you have Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, there is no reason to spend a fortune on tight ends. You just have to have good, solid players around you, and then they'll elevate everything, which allows you the freedom to overpay a little and take risks on pass rushers. There's no excuse. To me, this idea that, you can't just spend all this money on, why not? It's a salary cap. Once you have a guy as good as Brady or Aaron Rodgers, you can save so much money on the offensive side, it allows you to overpay for the next Lawrence Taylor. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Would you rather have your superstar quarterback who's had 2 collarbone surgeries, probably physically now, not in his prime, slightly on the 10th or 11th hole, face Khalil Mack, face the Vikings defense, or just face him in the locker room as they both head to the shower on the same team? I think it's obvious. If the Rams can pay for 5 or 6 stars and they wanted him, the Packers can certainly pay for 2. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.